RVBN, the Rich Video Blog Network, Billerica, Massachusetts, home of Top 10 List. Good morning, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Google+. This is Rich again, back from the RVBN studios for the first video blog of the day for Friday, September 23rd, 2016. Around 7:30 in the morning, Billerica, Massachusetts. Going to be a sunny day out today, highs in the mid-80s. Get out and enjoy it because it could be one of the last 80-degree days of the year. Some news to report from the RVBN News Wire. The Boston Red Sox beat the Baltimore Orioles by the score of 5-3. 8 straight wins by the Boston Red Sox. They swept the Orioles. The Orioles are out of the wild card picture for right now. Also, the New England Patriots crushed the Houston Texans by the score 27-0 with the third string quarterback, which is pretty amazing considering the Texans are a decent team. The Czech Republic beat Team USA by the score of 4-3 in the World Cup of Hockey. Both the Czech Republic and Team USA are not going to go to the semifinal round of the World Cup of Hockey. Team USA won 0 games during this tournament, which was very disappointing. And sad news to report in the world of USA Hockey. Former president of USA Hockey and one of the founding members of the Minnesota North Stars, Walter Bush, passed away at the age of 86. So prayers to his family in this time of need. And that's about it on the RVBN Newswire. I'll be back in 1 minute for my first video blog subject of the day. I'm back. Did you miss me? I was only gone for a few seconds. My first video blog subject of the day is about the Boston Bruins on wsbk TV 38. The history of the Bruins being on wsbk TV 38. The Boston Bruins were on television in the Boston area for many years, but they had a limited amount of games on television. First, they were on Channel 5 back in the 1960s, and also the old WNAC Channel 7, but it was just a limited amount of games, and they just showed highlights. In 1966, a lot of Bruins games were on the new channel that was formed, Channel 56 WKBG, and Fred Cusick called them, and some of them were actually on tape delay because of the Boston Celtics also on WKBJ, and WKBJ did not renew the Bruins contract in 1967, and the Bruins signed on to televise the games on wsbk TV 38, which was a television station, was only on the air a couple of years, and usually the Boston Bruins televised the first few years of Bruins coverage, mainly road games. It was called by Don Earl and Johnny Pearson, and their theme music was do 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 that was the theme song, and the host of the in-between periods was Tom Larson, who would talk about the highlights of the periods, and he would also have the interviews with the Bruins players. And the ratings that got on WSBK TV 38 for the Bruins games were outstanding for the road games. Eventually they mixed in some home games as well, and they televised most of their playoff games as well. And also they showed highlights of the Bruins Stanley Cup win in 1970, and also they televised a lot of Stanley Cup Finals games for the Bruins in 1972 when they won them against the New York Rangers. Around 1971, Fred Cusick became play-by-play announcer of the Boston Bruins on WSBK TV 38, and for the next 6 years, Fred was the play-by-play announcer for the Bruins. He had various amount of partners, including Johnny Pearson and Dave Shea, and his most famous one was Derek Sanderson, former Bruins player. And it seemed like in the 1970s and early 1980s, all of the Bruins games were televised on WSBK TV 38. It seems like WSBK TV 38 grew with the Boston Bruins during the 60s, 70s, and 80s. They also added, in between periods, mini one-on-one, which is usually local youth groups going to play on the garden ice. They would tape it, and they would show it on it, which was pretty awesome. That was one of the highlights of Bruins coverage on WSBK TV 38. Around 1984, the number of games on WSBK TV 38 was reduced to about half the Bruins games, mainly on the road, because of NESN, which was a new regional sports over-the-air network, which was partially owned by WSBK TV 38. So NESN televised all the home game except a couple, and the Bruins WSBK televised all road games, including the playoff, plus the stipulation that if every seventh game for the Boston Bruins had to be on WSBK TV 38, plus they would televise the home game, which they gave out the 7th Player Award for WSBK TV 38 for the Bruins player who went beyond expectations. And over the years, on the Bruins telecast in between periods, the host changed from Tom Larson for years, and then he was replaced by Sean McDonough in the early 1980s, early to mid 80s. Then Gene Levanchi was the in-between host for a few years, and then eventually Doug Brown, and the Bruins was mixing the games between WSBK TV 38 and NESN for home and away for many years in the 1990s. By 1995, when WSBK TV 38 became UPN 38, they cut the intermission studio highlights, and they just had Fred and Derek talk about pre-taped interviews with players and other stuff. And also they talked about some important stats. In 1997, Fred Cusick retired from broadcasting, and Derek Sanderson retired with him to go back into private business full time. And the new broadcasting team was Dave Shea, and he had Jerry Cheevers with him, and also Andy Brickley, and Phil Esposito. And in like 2000, the number of Bruins games on NESN on WSBK TV 38 was reduced to about 20 odd games or so, which mainly they showed Saturday night games on UPN 38 because they did not want to preempt the UPN programming on WSBK TV 38, which went 5 days a week. And in 2002, the contract with WSBK TV 38 and the Boston Bruins ended. Its last game it ever televised was Game 6 of the Eastern Conference quarterfinals in 2002, when the Montreal Canadiens upset the Boston Bruins 4-2. That was the year the Bruins were the #1 seed in the Eastern Conference. And it was sad to see the Bruins leave WSBK because they were a very important part of TV 38 growing during the 60s and 70s, and it also was one of the big things with the Bruins' popularity. But I don't think they could afford carrying more Bruins games. Plus, NESN was getting to be on basic cable for all of the Boston area, and it was like a better financial thing to have NESN carry all the Bruins games. It's a part of like local television. It's over with, like, sad because it was good to get like the Bruins games on like over-the-air television. You get more exposure there with like more advertising dollars. But you know, times change. But I miss watching the Bruins on WSBK TV 38, part of my childhood. That's about it on that. I will be back later, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Google Plus with 2 more video blogs coming for you. First video blog will be about my wish list of things with events that are presumably lost on videotape, but I would love to see somehow it be rediscovered, because there's a lot of stuff that was assumed to be lost and destroyed by wiping, for like old television shows somehow being found. My wish list on that. And the last video blog of the day will be about former Major League Baseball pitcher Bobby Ojeda. Keep calm, everybody. I'm a jeweler betting guy. Molly Roseblood of WCCOX has nice legs. Elizabeth Hart is so stunning. She's the best. Amy Sweezy's awesome. Awesome Amy. Linda Church of WPIX Channel 11 is such a rocking cougar. She's got nice legs. And Bobby Gibbs of ABC 11 has a sweet southern accent. Have a good day, everybody. See you later.